So in this video, repairing another Sony HC3 HDV camcorder, and this one has a shorted capstan motor, or likely one that's just pulling way too much current and blowing the fuse protector. Now I did narrow it down to being the actual capstan motor because I went ahead and tested on another board and did the same exact thing. So it's definitely the capstan motor. So I took a good one from this one, put it into this one. This here's the old one. There's nothing wrong. It's not stiff. It feels exactly the same as the good capstan motor. So not sure why this one's exactly pulling too much current or shorted. It could be probably one of the Hall sensors, which is right underneath this, rotor right here. So it could be, one of the Hall effect sensors run bad or something. Who knows? Either way it goes, I did have a good capstan motor, so I put it into this one. You can see how much work you need to do to get that out, of course, which means you had to do a complete teardown and rebuild to the transport. For those that want to know how you get to the mode gear, it's right here. You do have to remove this plate, of course, and then you'll be able to lift the contacts out, clean the contacts, put the mode gear back in, and then put that plate back on. You do want to make sure you get your alignment marks, which you see dots in the gears. One there is all lined up and stuff. And make sure you got your timing correctly and everything slotted into the proper place when you do put this together. Otherwise, it's going to be off time. Either way it goes, I went ahead in this one right here, and you kind of see how it's all put back together. This, for those that want to know, it's not something that's easy or something I recommend someone that's never done this to do. But either way it goes, I've done hundreds of these, so it's pretty easy for me. But we do have the new capstan motor in there, and hopefully we can get another HC3 going. And I'll go and test it, the power supply, obviously make sure I got everything slotted where it's supposed to be and it's in timed and so forth. But I'm gonna go and get this back into the chassis, and hopefully she'll actually work. So do have the old capstan motor pulled apart, and here's the stator assembly. And I'm looking around, I don't see no scraping. Doesn't look like none of the coils came apart or came unglued. And here's the Hall sensors right there. And here's for your FG coil and so forth. But either way it goes, nothing looks obviously bad. Either way it goes, I got a good capstan motor that I know that's good. So I put it in it. But I figure I'll go and show you a look inside the stator assembly of one of these. But I don't see anything that's obvious, like corrosion or it's coming apart or whatever. So, and it wasn't stiff, it's nice and smooth. So not sure exactly what happened to this one, but either way it goes, got the new one in. Hopefully it'll fix the problem. So one thing you always want to go ahead and do is double check your work, of course, and make sure everything's nice and smooth and that it's loading and unloading properly. So I'll go ahead and load it, and you can see there it loads nice and smooth. So it's good. Everything was, of course, re-lubricated. Did clean the mode switch and stuff like that. So I might go ahead and get the carriage assembly back on there. Of course, I got to unload it again. And then once I unload it, I'll go ahead and get the carriage assembly back on. So figure I'll go and show you it unloading. And then there you go. And for the voltage I use 4.5 volts at about 1 amp. And that will be more than sufficient enough to actually go and load and unload it without actually damaging the gears, because you don't want to put too much voltage, because then you can end up, breaking teeth and so forth if it goes too fast. But either way it goes, it's nice and smooth. So now time to get the loading mechanism back on there. So went ahead and put the carriage assembly back on there. And let's go in and unload it so you can see what it looks like unloading. And there you go. So now I'm gonna go and get this back into the chassis and actually test it. So I went ahead and put the 3 screws mounting the transport back in there, and also put the white protective film back in. So now I'm gonna get the main board back in, and we'll get the rest of this camcorder back together pretty much. So this is what it would look like with the main board, AV board, and all the cables and everything plugged back in. So now I'm gonna go and get the, of course, lens with flash and the LCD assembly back in there. And hopefully in the next part of the video, we'll see a working camcorder. So I went ahead and reassembled the camcorder enough to test to see, make sure I actually load the tape this time, because last time I tried to load the tape, it blew the fuse protector on the main board because the Capstan motor was bad. But now that it has the new Capstan motor, let's see if it works. And I also went ahead and did replace that 1.4 amp fuse that it blew. So yep, it's back alive again, so that's good. So we're already off to a good start. At least it's powering on now. And let's just go ahead and eject it. Of course, it asked me to set the clock because I had it apart. But it did unload it, so let's go and load the tape in. It did that okay. It was when it loaded the tape is where it had problems. And yes, that sounds great. It didn't do that before, so that's good. And I can see it picked up the time code, so I'm quite happy. And yes, it is playing back the tape, and this is actually an LP tape recorded on another camcorder, so that means I got the alignment 100%. So that's good. It is working, it is playing back the tape. Let's just go ahead and see how it sounds. No clicking. Okay, hold on. It's just trying to help. I hate. And you can see it sounds good, but the whole transport was fully rebuilt, so I expect it to sound good. And let's just go to high speed. And yes, she is fully working, so I have another one of these working. It's the third HC3 I fixed so far. Okay. Good, we'll go to rewind. Hear how it sounds. It sounds healthy, so that's good. And then let me put the mic up too as it's playing. Yep, I don't hear any weird noises. And it lives again, so this was a completely dead camcorder that didn't power on. Let me see if I can find that Capstan motor. Due to this being shorted, yes, it took a lot of work because I had to completely disassemble the whole entire transport. I went ahead and did the mode switch while I was at it, since I had the whole entire thing apart, so you might as well go ahead and do the mode gear. But either way it goes, it was due to this that was actually blowing the fuse protector on the main board that was causing the camcorder not to power up. Unfortunately, it was a major repair. I don't expect most people to be able to do this type of repair because you do have to know how to time these mechanisms and you're dealing with very small components. But either way it goes, I saved another Sony HC3, as you can see, so it is fully operational now. So now I went ahead and fully reassembled this Sony HDR-HC3 HDV camcorder and was able to save another one. So this is the third one that I saved recently. And this one had a more serious problem. This one had a bad Capstan motor, which this is the old Capstan motor. And I suspect one of the Hall sensors went bad on it. Either way it goes, it was pretty much loading the tape, and as soon as it loads the tape, it'll blow the fuse protector on the main board. And I went ahead and narrowed it down to this. I'm kind of surprised because it wasn't dragging, it wasn't due to it being stiff or anything like that, because yes, lubricants and stuff do dry up, but it wasn't the case on this one. So I do suspect one of these Hall sensors likely probably failed, or it could be even, you know, a shorted coil or something. I'm not sure what happened to it, but either way it goes, thankfully I had another parts transport that happened to have the same exact Capstan motor, so I just pulled it out of that one and did a full rebuild on this transport, putting the new Capstan motor in there. And as you can see, it's currently playing right now in the background as I'm talking, so it is fully operational. I did test record and everything off camera, and it does record and stuff. So this camcorder is in good shape now, and it's the third one I saved so far recently. So there you go, and this concludes the video.